Hold up, are influencers calling their followers lazy? They're everywhere. Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, Medium, and even LinkedIn. Influencers, content creators, are basically saying that the rest of us and all of their followers are lazy and need to get off their couches and instead get a side hustle and work until they drop. But is this fair? Why would someone who would hardly put in the work and keep regurgitating the same content shared by other influencers feel like they're in a position of power to tell the rest of us, the hardworking nation, that they need to leave their 9-to-5 job and jump into their side hustle, pour their souls out, exhausted body and mind, into more work until midnight, then wake up at 5 a.m. and do it all over again? Where's the sense in this? What happened to your preaching about self-care? What happened to putting your mental and physical health first? What happened to allowing yourself to do nothing and letting the mind wander? Because that's where true self-love and self-discovery lie. 1, we know that this isn't healthy at all. And 2, it's impractical. Let's put it all into perspective. Humans are not robots. Real life is hard work, with many moving parts. Even when working from home, a 9-to-5 job means waking up a few minutes or hours earlier to get ready, unless you're single with no kids. But for the rest of us, who seem to be the subject being addressed by these influencers, this logic does not work. Not for many households anyway. An average household with 1 or 2 kids means waking up at least 2 hours early to prepare yourself and the kids for the day. If you're homeschooling, this is more time to be piled onto your schedule, not forgetting all the interruptions through the day. Snacks, mealtimes, playtimes, etc. Even with a partner, you'd be feeling quite run down by 2 p.m. So, with meetings running after hours and work to be done, no human has the energy to still work on a side hustle at peak energy. Let's not forget bath time and bedtime routines, and the unpredictable nature of kids' health. Not even the biggest glass of wine will fill that much-needed relief, especially with the laundry staring at you. On the other hand, if you have a commute or a drive to work and have kids to care for, even with childcare, there's hardly enough time in a day to get through everything. Waking up at 4 or 5 a.m. might seem like a good idea, but with the kids and the commute, long work days, commute back home, networking, running errands, and trying to have a social life, the 5 p.m. to 12 a.m. side hustle timeframe mentally is extremely unfair, and it's skewed to the people that don't have normal jobs and an average life, namely, influencers. It is easy to judge people by claiming that they're wasting their time, not working hard enough, or not being creative and coming up with new ways of earning money. But in the real world, where it's not enough to hire someone to take care of your home, it can be challenging and almost impossible to be productive at an 8-to-5 job and side hustle. Influencers' selfish and self-aggrandizing behavior. Most influencers preaching this harmful gospel of working until you drop and getting side hustles hardly have other heavy jobs that they need to take care of, other than attend functions, post content, unbox, and talk about all this new product that they got and have been dreaming of. Let's not forget to mention how most content these influencers share is irrelevant. Yet they'll spend hours talking about the importance of working hard or complaining about the poor pay that they get for their jobs. If any of these influencers lived in an average person's world, where people forget to shower or to look at their phones out of utter exhaustion, then figure out how to run a business after having such days, pretty much 24/7, 365, they wouldn't spew so much hate and unhelpful advice to the rest of us. Life is hard enough, and everyone is working hard, doing their very best. Grind culture comes with a number of unwanted repercussions. Influencers, stop propagating the grind culture. You wouldn't afford that trip if you weren't so lucky to be included in a company's marketing and branding strategy. You haven't paid for almost all of your expense meals this year. So just stop. It's also unrealistic for a childless person to judge a parent for not affording what they can afford when they don't have to spend their money on anyone else. Also, wealthy individuals don't have the time to make an hour-long video about virtual trading or selling ebooks. Many influencers blogging and vlogging about how to make money online, selling crafts, hardly make much money, and the pressure on other people working real hard is self-aggrandizing and wrong. Hustle grind culture is toxic. Most individuals think that spending too much time working on work or anything else means getting ahead in life. but it isn't always the case. Unfortunately, this culture is already ingrained in many people's minds, and taking off from work when someone works through the weekends makes them feel guilty. But this is not how human beings were meant to work. If it were, we'd never feel tired. Overworking thanks to a hustle culture fuels cognitive dissonance. What this means is that if you go too hard on the rise and grind culture, there's a very high risk that you will, in the end, or somewhere in the middle, contradict your goals and lose sight of the reason why you started in the first place. So while a side hustle is a good way to increase your income and make your life a little bit better, you need to ensure that it doesn't cause a decline in the quality of your life. If you can work on the side hustle 2 or 3 days a week without feeling like you're overstretched and dropping a ball or two, maybe you can build on it. Just be careful not to lose your 8-to-5 job. Research shows that the high stress levels of hustle culture result in a drop in professional productivity, and you may not do so well in the next appraisal. There's also the heightened risk of burnout, an increase in errors, and also it kills creativity. Health problems arising from hustle culture. Overworking, whether through putting in more hours in your main job or at your 9-to-5 and side hustle, will lead to burnout. But often it increases your risk of developing a mental health disorder. There's also an increase in cerebrovascular and cardiovascular disease from the high stress levels associated with this hustle culture. And the sad part is that if you drop dead from coronary heart disease, myocardial infarction, or maybe even extreme exhaustion, life goes on. Long working hours have also been shown to cause high blood pressure and an increased heart rate. It may also cause insulin resistance and diabetes, hypercoagulation, arrhythmia, atrial fibrillation, and ischemia. With the diseases on the horizon from overworking, influencers advocating the grind culture should be stopped. Sleep is crucial for your well-being, and just like burnout, chronic sleep deprivation could lead you down a path of heart attacks, high blood pressure, stroke, heart failure, diabetes, etc. Not to mention the impact it has on your immune functions, lowered libido, anxiety, and depression. As the same influencers used to preach, self-care and a sense of balance is necessary. We should start admonishing all of these agents of hustle culture because it's just too damaging.